What's up, everybody? This is Dagobah Days with the Toy Photographers Podcast. We have an incredible episode for you. We have the one, the only, Mr. Steve, aka SCR Pics. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey Dakota, I'm doing great, man. I just got back from a hike and I'm ready to go. I'm pumped.
Awesome, man. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So we're gonna jump right into it. So how long have you been doing it, man? I know you're young. You're 16 years old, but how long have you been doing toy photography?
I've been doing it since around Rogue One came out, like in November, I think, of that. It was back when the Death Troopers were coming out. That was my first figure that I actually photographed.
Nice. So you picked up a Black Series figure, and did you find toy photography first, or did you just started shooting first and then find toy photography afterwards?
I think I got the figures first. I had a Black Series. My first 6-inch figure was the Black Series Boba Fett.
Mhm.
And I got it on Amazon. It was a Christmas present for like $20. I found it, and my mom was like, "All right, we can get that for you." And soon after, I think I saw Spencer Witt's work on an article, and specifically, it was this one Scout Trooper shot where the Scout Trooper was on his bike in the forest. He was speeding on his bike, and I just like checked out his Instagram after that, and his work was just so inspiring, and I just, like, started exploring from there. I saw, Nick Shakem 78's work after that,
Mhm.
and the snowball just kept rolling, and I just kept finding more and more people. Such a gem of a community that I stumbled upon, and I'm really happy that I found it.
Dude, I'm glad you did find it. That's awesome. I've actually never heard, of Spencer being one of the inspirations, man. I'm sure that he has tons of people out there he's inspired, but that's so cool that we did the interview with him first, and now I'm hearing like a second generation almost of, inspiration for Spencer. That's so cool. I guess Rogue One got you started in toy
Mhm.
photography. That was the inspiration? You loved the movie, and you're like, "Ah, I'm gonna grab a figure. I'm just gonna try to recreate some of the scenes." So, just starting out, like, what were you doing? Like, were you just shooting with your phone, or did you shoot with the actual camera? What'd you start out with?
I started out with just my phone. I think I had a Samsung back then, and I was just playing around with how it works. And I was actually like bringing my figures to my sister's soccer matches and finding the grass areas and the dirt areas and just seeing what seeing what I can make of it with my figures.
That's awesome, and you're just using what you had, just going out there unashamed, putting some figures in the ground, starting to do a little toy photography. Did you have anybody you were trying to emulate? Anybody that you really enjoyed? Like, I know you said Swit Pics and Shake 'em. Was there anybody else that, like, kind of inspired you when you first started out?
Oh man, when I was just starting out, I think I hadn't like really dove into the community. It had been more of I just found them and I started taking pictures. I hadn't really even started posting a lot until I had like a couple more photos that I was like looking at like that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
So once I started posting, then I started more exploring, and then that's where I started finding people like SgtBananas. I know he comes up like all the time, but he is no doubt one of like my biggest inspirations. Just the cinematic feel that he brings to his shots is just incredible. With
Oh, yeah.
with the lighting and the posing. Yeah, he's definitely one of the big ones. People like Trooper Alliance, he is one of my biggest inspirations as well with a lot of my action and Star Wars related shots. He's definitely there as well.
Nice. Shout out to Trooper Alliance. Shout out to Johnny Woo. The most recent shots that you've done, that's what I was reminded of was Johnny's work, and just kinda seeing that style, and I know he's a big inspiration to everybody in the toy community, but kinda seeing the stuff you've been doing recently, it's like I was like, "Man, this kinda does look like, Johnny's stuff," but it looks really good, man. I love the practical effects you've been doing lately. I love the tones and the mood that you've been going for, and it's a lot more cinematic. Dude, I love that Punisher shot. I just actually bookmarked it to feature it and on 112 Collective. I didn't even see that shot. The one that we got, he's like staring straight at the camera. He's got like two guns in his hands and he's the snow and dude, that's a really sick shot. What was your
Oh,
inspiration for that one, man?
actually, I posted the original angle, 2 posts before. It was the one where it's the longer shot.
Okay.
Um, if you see that, but that was the
Yeah.
original shot that I was going for. But I had the setup up, and I just tried to get the most out of what my setup was, because
Mm.
I take a while with my setups, and I'm just trying to get the most out of them. So I bring different figures that can work in the scenarios, and this angle just happened to be a really great shot. Really made for a great shot here.
This, like,
So
reminds me of a comic scene, like, was this inspired by anything? Like, I wanna say this, like, is something of a recent comic run, is it? Or is this something you just kinda made up in your mind?
honestly, it might have sprouted from a comic cover or two where he's just like all geared up, but I can't put my name on anyone particularly. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
It's sick, dude. That's a sick shot. I can't wait to
thank you.
post that on 112, man. I love your stuff, man. I really do admire that, like, how quickly you've kind of adapted and grown within, like, the last I just scrolled down your feed and looking past, like, the last 50 to 60 shots, like, how quickly you've kind of grown and learned new techniques. Do you put a lot of time into I know you said you took a lot of time in your setups. Have you been working on your techniques a lot more lately?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. If you notice in my feed, I'm trying to learn all the different types of practical effects.
Mm.
So at a point you could see that I was doing a lot with rain, and then another point you could see I was doing a lot with sun rays, and another point you could see that I was doing a lot with like action and snow and all those. So I'm just trying to like perfect all of my areas,
Mhm.
and I know I'm not gonna be able to perfect them, but just improving is really big for me, so I can create whatever idea that comes to me when the time comes.
Nice, man. So do you buy all your figures or how do you I know Mezco is one of your favorite lines because you shoot a lot of Mezco. Like, how do you get the figures, man?
Basically, just Christmas money, birthday money, allowance, and I'm just saving up for the figures on my list. Whenever any new figure is solicited, then I write it down, or I write down any ideas that come to me. I know my parents are don't really like me going out and buying every single figure, so I really try to make it count.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I get like my my parents they did buy me toys and figures and stuff as a kid, but like once I turned like 13, 14, they're like, "Yeah, you're old. Too old for that kind of stuff. So let's get you more practical stuff." But
Yeah, I actually started out with Legos when I was in middle school. That's back then when they used to buy me toys. So as I started moving into action figures, that's when they're starting to like move out of their phase of buying me stuff and instead giving me allowance every once in a while that I could
oh,
save up.
yeah.
But yeah,
Dude, I have this
most
funny story. I have this funny story. I gotta tell you this because I feel like you would appreciate it. And I was about 14 or 15 when it happened. So I was really into Dragon Balls, like super into Dragon Ball Z around 14, 15. So this is about almost 15 years ago now. So I'll be 30 next year. So what happened was I was just I what I would do is I collected the figures. I had no idea back then about toy photography. I was a collector and just posing them and just having fun. I had them all up in my closet, and my dad, I guess, found them, and he just wasn't aware of how many Dragon Ball Z figures I had amassed, but he found them, dude, and he went in there and, like, he, like, had to sit down with me, and he's like, "We really need to assess your goals and, like, what you wanna do with your life, like, you're almost a man, and, like, you need to, like, start thinking about, like, s" he was trying to, like, make me, like, feel bad about it, and he's like, "Oh, you're, like, worshiping these toys, and, like, you got them all set up in, like, a little idolatry, thing in your closet, man, like, you need to really think about what you're doing." And I was like, "No, dude, like, this is something I enjoy, it's fun, like, why can't you enjoy it?" But, oh, man, yeah, it is it was hard for him to wrap his head around, just what I didn't know back then that I'd be still into it at this point in my life, but
Mhm.
it yeah, it's funny. When people don't get it, they just don't get it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I totally resonate with what you were saying. I know my parents, when I started, like, moving out of, Legos, they're almost, like, kinda glad, you know? And, once I started into moving into action figures, they're like, "Oh, crap," you know? And, but once I started seeing it as, like, an art with what I started doing with it, then they became, like, really supportive, and I've always been really happy that they've been able to do that for me,
That's
you
awesome,
know?
man. That is so cool. I've told my grandfather, who actually was a broadcaster for CNN, that I got an interview with CNN, and he just kinda brushed it off like, "Oh, okay, cool." It's like, "Come on, like, be supportive."
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Oh, man.
it's crazy, man, like, this community, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, was to, like, build the network, build, of course, like, material that people like yourself and people like myself who, it doesn't matter the age, who want to be able to find like-minded people and be able to pick apart, like, all the stuff we do and be able to continue learning and progressing, man, like you have been doing. So this is something that I want it to be more mainstream in the good sense. Like I want people to be able to access this and be like, okay, there's people out there like me. I don't have to feel bad about it.
You know, at my school, I haven't met anyone who's about toy photography or even toys in general, so this is a really nice outlet to communicate with people and talk about these things that we love.
It's crazy, man, because I feel like people your age, like, aren't into action figures. Like, I feel like there's people more my age and older, like, because the '90s and the early 2000s was kind of like there was a good time when we had some good figures, but I wanna say, like, the last years has been kind of like the golden age of action figures.
Especially with what you see with Mezco, with, whenever you order a figure nowadays, it comes with a little note that says, "This is not a toy, this is a collector's item," so which really
Oh,
shows that.
you're not even old enough to get them, are you? It says 18 and older, dude. What are you doing?
It's actually hilarious 'cause, I was at a toy show called Frankenson, and, I don't know if you heard it, but I came to this booth, and I was looking at this was actually a couple years ago when they still had, the Dark Knight, Mezco figure around. I had no idea what it was. I didn't know what Mezco was at the time, but I looked at it and I was like, "How much is that?" The guy's like, "You have a parent with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, never mind."
What?
But
He literally said that?
yeah, it was hilarious. And,
Oh my god. Hey,
never
however,
would
what do
I
you
know.
wanna see your ID? Can I see your ID? I'm gonna see your ID for this Mezco figure.
Yeah, never would I know that that figure is, like, one of the most famous, most expensive Mezco figures of all now, you know?
Yeah. It's
I haven't
crazy.
seen one in real life since then.
It's crazy the hype that, like, the especially with Mezco or Hot Toys or Figure Arts and people that, like, see that price tag and then their mind just does not get it. Like, they don't understand what the quality that you're paying for. Like, when you buy a Marvel Legend or you buy, like, a Black Series, like, yeah, it's a cool figure, 20 bucks, it's a cool
Mhm.
figure. But then when you jump up to 80 bucks or, like, 200 bucks, like, people, if you tell someone who's just not into toy photography or action figures, like, they just don't understand, like, why how do you justify that? But when you start to actually mess with them and you see the accessories and the detail, it's like they honestly are worth more, and that's why people are willing to pay more, aftermarket prices because they are worth it.
Yeah, man. My dad gets it because he is like a shoe fanatic, so it's the same type of deal with the hype and the resale. So he totally gets the price and the detail and the overall worth.
Oh, for sure. What kind of shoes is he into?
He's into all kinds of shoes. Funnily enough, he actually picked up these Yeezys from Thailand, and and they were knockoff Supreme. So Supreme never did anything with Yeezys, but they but they made a Yeezys Supreme sneaker in Thailand. The total knockoff, but he brought it back and he was laughing.
Wow. I've never bought any of Kanye's stuff. I think it's cool, man. I never got into the higher end sneakers.
Yeah, me neither.
I
Uh,
fe I feel like I would rather drop the money on a figure or like a new lens or something.
yeah, definitely, man. You know, I inherit all of my shoes from my dad, so we're basically the same size now. So he has this giant shoe collection on my wall, and he lets me wear them every once in a while. When I promise not to skate in them or mess them up, you know.
Oh, man. Are you a skateboarder?
Yeah, I skate. That's another one of my hobbies. That's the hobby that I usually tell all my friends, but it's they know about toy photography too, and my friends are supportive of that too. It's cool that they don't make fun of me for that.
Since you live in California, dude, and you are a skateboarder, like, you're gonna appreciate some of these stories that I have. So, I grew up a skateboarder, man, like, I was big into skateboarding, like, about your age. I would say probably about 14 to age 20, like, about 6 years, I was just deep into skating, and, like, I
That's
got into
awesome.
longboarding. I got to meet, like, all my idols, which was, like, Jamie Thomas, Chris Cole, Angie Reynolds, like, all the dudes, and
Mm.
I got to see Tony Hawk. I got to see, the Boom Boom Huck Jam back when they were going around. Being a toy photographer now, like, I think skateboarding, I wanna say gave me that attention to detail and that, like, obsessiveness almost, and it translated because being a skateboarder, like, you have to try things over and over and over and
Mm.
over again till you finally get it. It's like, you ever heard that Latin saying, "Repetitio est mater studiorum," which is repetition is the mother of study. If you just keep
Oh
repeating
yeah.
it, you keep repeating it, and if finally you get it. Like, it took me, like,
Mm.
3 years to get a kickflip. Like, I I don't know why, and my learning curve was very it was a huge learning curve for me, but I finally got it. Maybe because I was a little overweight when I was, like, 15, 16. But since that's awesome, dude. I'm really stoked to hear that you're a skateboarder. Like, how long have you been skating?
I've been skating since you know, about like 3 years now. I'm in my junior year of high school. I started in freshman year, and yeah, I haven't been practicing lately
Mhm.
because I've been doing a lot of toy photography, but I never really drew that connection between the two. It's really cool how you did that, but I totally get it with how much time goes into just practicing this one thing over and over, just like how you're trying to get this shot, tweaking little things, you know,
Mhm.
just like tweaking the foot placement for your kick flip, or tweaking your figure so it doesn't fall over, or tweaking the camera so you get the right angle, you know. It's all trial and error.
It's connected. It's all connected, and I say that because, like, as artists and as people who are creative, those things translate, and it doesn't have to be skateboarding. Some people, like, come from backgrounds of, like, public speaking, or they come from, like, graphic design. Like, I know so many graphic designers that do toy photography. So, like, when you're an artist, you can kinda translate that, and for me, my kind of background was skateboarding and music, and all of that kinda connects for me and creates almost this umami of flavors that I can kinda draw from to be able to put into my art, but that's cool. That's awesome, dude. So, like, I know that you started pretty recently and you started around Rogue One, but how do you feel like your photos have changed since you first started? Like, have you seen a lot of improvements? Like, are you enjoying it more? Like, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it more. I think there was a I took a break after before I got my new camera, before I got a real camera. I had been shooting with my phone, and I took a break at some point, but I came back to it after I started exploring the community more, and I just started picking it up and trying to learn as much as I can and improve. And that's really where it made the flip for me
Mm.
from being just like from just having having fun with it, I guess you can say, but then actively trying to improve my skills, which I'm also having fun with. So it's that's really where that happened.
Nice, dude. I mean, it's amazing to see the progress that you've already made, and I can't wait to see, like, within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, if you keep at it like that like you have been doing, the progress that you're gonna make. And you being so young, I don't think you realize, like, you kinda have, like, a almost like a leg up on everybody else because your brain is still growing and still learning, and you're able to learn these things a lot faster than some of these guys who've been doing it for, maybe later in their years. So, do you approach toy photography more for like the process, like the shooting and like the posing, or do you do it more for like the posting, like the community, the Instagram, or is it kind of like uh, a culmination of both? Like, what are you interested more?
Oh man, I think it's definitely a combination of both. But if I were to lean to one side, it would be the comprising the shot and actually going out there and taking the picture.
Mhm.
Um, it's always been a learning experience for me. So it's been really cool to be able to change little things and just have them click. For example, with one of my shots that I did, it was with General Grievous and Commander Fordo or Captain Fordo, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and I had taken like 600 shots that day just to get the final result. And it only started clicking after I had changed the angle and changed rotating my entire setup so that the sun was shining behind it rather than in front of it. And it made all of the details pop. You could see some like subtle light rays. The debris was more lit up, and it just clicked, you know.
Oh,
And
nice. When you're shooting outside in the elements, like, is that something that you love to do, like shooting outdoors rather than shooting indoors?
oh man, I love both, but I started out shooting outdoors, so that's like my go-to for a lot of my ideas.
Mhm.
When they come to me, they're a lot of them are outdoor related. Um, but I've been recently getting into more of indoor shots, and they're actually more of outdoor shots because I'm forced to do them outside so that my flour from snow and the rain, the water from my rain doesn't get all over my room, you know.
Oh,
But
yeah, for sure.
but being able to manipulate the lighting in your pictures is a skill that I'm working on right now,
Mhm.
and it's definitely a focus. I think I've been doing pretty well with my outdoor photography, so I decided to work more on indoor photography, so that I can just progress that way.
That's awesome. So are you someone that kind of obsesses over the shot and will reshoot shots like or do you just kind of work with what you got? Like I know you said that you took like 600 shots to get the perfect angle and the lighting just right. Is it something that's really important to you to get that perfect representation of what's in your mind? Or do you just kind of like go with the flow and just kind of deal with what you got? Because I'm one of those people that kind of just I shoot it, and if it's not exactly what I wanted, I just kind of deal with it and I post it. Like how do you do it?
It kind of depends on whether I have a specific idea in mind or I'm just trying to exercise a certain skill, you know? I know with one of my shots I did when I was first trying to learn how to catch light rays. I did one with Leonardo where he's in the jungle and he's unsheathing his sword, and I was trying to catch some light rays with the with the leaves and vines that I placed around him, and I had taken 300 shots that day, and I came out with only one that actually had any light rays in it. So I kind of worked with what I got on that one because I didn't really have a super specific idea in mind.
Mhm.
But with some of my other ones, with here, let me just find an example real quick. Okay, here. I had this shot of Iron Spider Man with Mysterio,
Mhm.
and I had this green smoke around it, and I ended up using all of my green smoke pellets to get that shot because I was just trying to get that perfect image that I had in my mind of like the smoke coming around him and kind of like going through the battlefield to kind of like simulate it was making up everything that Peter is seeing in the scene, while also being able to show Mysterio without him being shrouded by the smoke. So I was really trying to get that balance because editing wise, I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't have Photoshop or any of those programs. I usually just play with the colors, the contrast, and everything, and the brightness on my computer with just the photo app on the Mac.
Okay.
So a lot of my shots, I'm trying to, with my practical effects, I'm trying to get the perfect thing that I'm going for without having to edit in certain details.
Gotcha. That's awesome, dude. You definitely are nailing it. Like, I love that shot, that Spider-Man shot you just referenced. I definitely can see how you're progressing with the techniques and you're working on those techniques. That's something that a lot of people don't take the time to do the practical stuff, and it definitely it's dangerous because sometimes you can ruin a figure if you're not careful, and but it's definitely worth it whenever you get that shot and you nail it, and it just looks so good. I'm curious, man, how are you getting those light rays? Are you using atmosphere aerosol for those ones you were referencing earlier, like for the Leonardo shot? How are you getting those rays?
Yeah, yeah, I was using, for the Leonardo shot, I actually didn't have any atmosphere aerosol on hand. So what I did is I collected a bunch of dirt from my field at school. Funny story, my friends were actually, just a little off topic, but my friends were asking me, "So, what are you doing after school?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go collect dirt from the field." So like, they're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I was gonna go get like a Ziploc and pile a bunch of dirt in it and bring it home for some of my photography." But like, how does that how does that help? And then I had to explain the whole process and they're like, "Oh, I get it. Okay." And then I asked him, "Can you go over there with me so I don't look weird collecting dirt by myself?" And and he's like, "Yeah, totally, man." So
You're like a modern day Indiana Jones out there, like, collecting samples, like dirt samples.
yeah. Uh, I wonder how many people have stories about me that I don't even know of just seeing me,
That is
but
awesome that you have the guts to go out there and do that. That's cool, man. So you're getting, like, some super fine dirt, and you're just throwing it on it. How are you kind of, like, are you sifting it? How are you getting that shot?
oh, back on topic, but yeah, I get the dirt and for shots like the Leonardo one, I had it at his feet, and I used this canned air duster that you can
Mm.
get at like Target or Walmart, and I just sprayed it so that I can get so that all of the fine dust rises. That was a pretty tedious process because it did not always react how you wanted it to.
Mm.
Sometimes I had to go in there with a straw to kind of lightly blow the dirt around because the when the canned air is too strong. But after experimenting with that and seeing how that doesn't work as well, as I wanted it to. I went ahead and picked up some cans of atmosphere aerosol,
Mhm.
and that totally changed the game. Shout out to them. They're doing some awesome stuff over there. There's no other way I could have done that.
I've never actually purchased any atmosphere aerosol, but I need to. It's on my list of things that I need to get. I just always would rather buy a figure than buy canned air or canned smoke. But,
Yeah.
what's your favorite line of figures to shoot, man? Like, are you still into the Black Series? I know you still shoot them, or is it the Mezco now?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have a couple Mezco figures that I just love shooting. I was fortunate enough to be able to grab the Mezco PX Punisher, the one where he comes with the thunderbolts,
Yeah.
um, chest plate thing, and I was able to get that off the secondary market for not too expensive. But I love shooting that figure just because of all everything that you could do with it, with the interchangeable chest plate or the suspenders that you can put on him, or you can take his coat off and he has short sleeves. You can change out his heads and his weapons. There's just a lot of variety that you could shoot with that figure and a lot of things that you can make work with it. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
definitely one of my favorites to shoot. But I love shooting the Black Series as well, just because for trooper shots, then I'm able to have a lot of them to shoot at once.
I love your trooper shots, man. Your trooper shots are awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I definitely need to get back outside and throwing some dirt around and getting into the nitty-gritty. Do you have any like moments on your account or just in your toy photography journey where you're like, oh my God, did that really just happen? Like a pinch me moment? Like did someone like feature your stuff that like you never expected? Or is there any moments that you've had so far?
One of the one of the big moments actually was Swit Pics. He actually followed me back, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because he was like my biggest inspiration. He was like my first inspiration, and that really that was a accomplishment, I like to say. But
That's awesome, dude.
yeah, one of my inspirations just being able to see and like my work is awesome, and I get comments from him occasionally too, which always is nice to see.
Yeah, shout out to Spencer. He's a great dude, man. Like, just send him a DM and let him know. I'm sure he'll be listening to this episode and he'll be like smiling ear to ear right now. So that's awesome. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like being so young, do you feel like it's harder to connect with some of these people that are older? Like, or what, having that age difference, is that something that kind of like intimidates you, or how do you feel? I've never really had anybody, your age that I've actively engaged with on the community. Like, what's it like for you being younger?
Honestly, at first, before when I still felt kind of unsure of myself, I was kind of afraid to ask questions to some of these guys with that have been doing this thing for a while and have produced such great work already. And but as I started like growing more sure of myself and connecting with more people in the community, it felt a lot more natural to talk to them, just ask them a question about how they did this shot, how they got this effect, what their camera settings were. It became a lot easier, and what I realized is that people don't even realize my age. So when we're talking, we're just talking like two normal guys. There's no real barrier there.
That's awesome. Yeah, there shouldn't be. Age is just a number, man. And as you get older and you start to realize like, people like yourself, people like myself, and people 10 years older than me, like age is just a number. And when you're mentally an adult, and I feel like you already are at that level, like mentally, like you see the world as an adult would see it, and you have that maturity, and you're like, already like going out there and getting dirt and like, pre-planning all your shots and stuff, and like that's just it. I mean, there's really no, like you said, there is no barrier. There's no barrier for people like yourself, and for anybody listening that's like, younger and feels like, hey, I can't reach out because I've got this age barrier. Don't feel that way, man. Just reach out and be like Steve and just, start to work on your craft. That's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. For sure. So I am going to take a quick break and we are going to come right back to the Toy Photographers Podcast. Stay right there. Welcome back, everybody, to the Toy Photographers Podcast. This is the SCR Pics interview. This has been amazing, man. I've been loving every minute of it. I want to go ahead and just jump right back into this question. So you were telling me about your customs that you've been doing. You've been showing me some videos, some photos. I'm blown away at the stuff that you're doing, especially with that Tyler Durden. You want to tell everybody about the customs that you do and your commissions. So go for it, man.
Awesome. Okay, so just to start off with that Tyler Durden, I've been working a lot on realistic people and or like characters from movies.
Hmm.
That's the area that I've been focusing on more. I used to focus more on clones. I used to do commissions for clones. So people will come to me with a specific idea. Like I did a Commander Ganch figure not too long ago.
Nice.
So the guy just gave me reference for me to look at, and I created what his idea. And that's what I try to do with all my commissions. And nowadays I'm doing figures other than clones, so that require me to put together the body myself. Whereas with the clones, I'd work off of a specific body. So with my Tyler Durden custom, I actually started off with a Mezco Daredevil body, and I stripped off those clothes, and I repainted the body with a couple different flesh tones, and then I ordered the clothes that I needed for him. I made a list of all the things that I needed, and from a seller on eBay called GPS Lot, they had some clothes that I thought would work, and I got the jacket from him. I got the shirt and the pants, and I dyed the shirt and painted the jacket to emanate or to uh what's the word I'm looking for?
Emulate.
Emulate. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
To emulate his look from the movie. And I got the head from this other seller on eBay called Action Figure Customs. And he sells some really, really awesome sculpts. It was a shrunk down head from the three I believe it was no, it was it
Blitzway.
was Blitzway. Yeah,
Yeah.
Blitzway one. Yeah, it was the Blitzway 1/6 Tyler Durden. The head was shrunk down, and I bought it off of him and resculpted the hair, painted all the details on his face, and especially the eyes. The eyes were the hardest part, and that's how I made that figure.
I'm
Um,
blown away, dude. I'm looking at this photo. You did a photo on your page, on your Instagram, and I'm blown away at the detail that you were able to achieve, man. So that's incredible. How long have you been painting head casts for?
I only recently started getting into head casts. I started maybe a couple months ago with some clone customs. They wanted me to provide a unmasked look, so that's where I started doing that. I think you could see on my profile, I did one of this red clone.
Mhm.
He has red markings on him, and his face, when you take off his helmet, his face is scorched on the left side of his face.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
So that's when I really started getting into painting the details on faces, and from there it only started moving into full repaints because with that clone it was just painting the details on the side of his face. I didn't paint the eyes or anything, but I painted the burn marks. But after that, that grew into to me picking up blank casts and starting from scratch with the painting process.
Nice. So your commissions right now are closed, right? Like you're not taking any commissions.
At the moment, no, because I'm just pretty busy as it is with schoolwork and with my photography game right now. But I am on the side working on my own projects. I'm trying to make a 3A inspired or Mezco and 3A inspired fully clothed Boba Fett, like
Nice.
1/12 scale. So I have little projects on the side that I'm still going for. I recently painted a Heath Ledger Joker head cast.
Mm.
Um, so I've been working on that too. But I'm actually um, have been discussing a commission with Scott Blind because the project he was thinking about was really piqued my interest. So if you have a project that you feel that I would really enjoy, and the project that Scott came up with, I did really enjoy the idea of, then I would have no problem making that. So it's more of me working on passion projects rather rather than projects that are less motivating to work on.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
always
enjoyable.
enjoyable. Yeah, it does. It's always enjoyable to work on stuff that you love to do. That's incredible, man. I'm glad that you are doing this. It's interesting, and I'm curious to see where it's going to lead you and what you're going to do with it. Is this something that you maybe want to kind of pursue after you get out of high school, or is this something that just as like a side thing, hobby?
So It's definitely something I wanna work with in my future. I actually discussed with some some family friends about, they brought me the idea of bringing my work into the film industry with prop and set design, which I thought was, like, an amazing idea, and I could really see my custom work translating, and that's something I've always been interested in. I've always also been interested in film, with my work behind the camera, um, as well. So, yeah.
That's incredible. I am trying not to be jealous because that's the avenue that I want to get into. I definitely can see where you would use those skills in being able to translate into that filmmaking skill set and be able to make movies with that. That's, The Lord of the Rings is one of my biggest inspirations for films, and they used a lot of miniatures, they used a lot of dioramas, and they filmed those things so close up. So you're able to get like almost like a toy photography scale and detail. So that'd be awesome, man. That'd be really cool to see where you go. So I'm going to transition into this question: is where do you see yourself in 10 years? So that'd be 26 years old. Where do you see Steve in 10 years?
Wow. Well, I hope to see myself pursuing this passion. I hope to see myself working in that area of prop design and film. I can't say for sure that that'll happen, but I'm gonna try my best to make that the reality.
That's incredible. I want to see it happen, man. I wanna like keep tabs with you and make sure you're following that dream because I definitely could see you do that, like for sure. Like that's a no-brainer almost.
Yeah, if and when I do get there, then I'm no doubt gonna be still doing toy photography.
Oh yeah. I feel like toy photography is almost like a jumping off point for getting into film and movies. Like, I think that you understand so many elements of cinematography and lighting
Mhm.
and being able to understand set design. Like, it gives you a really deep skill set that people don't even recognize or realize if you want to like use that as a jumping point into film.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because when you're doing indoor shots, then you're lighting that all by yourself, just like how in on set you'll be creating your own light. It's the same thing but smaller.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely something you can do for fun, and then eventually, maybe one day, you'll get paid to do it. You never know.
That would be amazing.
Yep, that's the dream. That's the dream. So,
Yep.
do you have any tips for people that are just starting out doing toy photography? Like, I know you kinda graduated from a cell phone, you got a nicer camera now. Like, do you have any tips for people who are just starting out? Like, maybe they just got a cell phone, they don't have a nice camera. What would you tell them to kinda focus on?
Um, I get this question asked a few times, and people who start out on their phone, some people think that they can't really do much with that. But I remember seeing this one post by Plastic Action where Chewbacca is doing, I think he's doing a tray flip in the picture,
Yeah.
but he shot that on an iPhone, which is incredible. And it really shows you what you can do with your iPhone if you don't let that hold you back. Everything can still apply, but having a nicer camera is just a luxury, you know? But getting back to what I can tell anyone who's starting out is experiment as much as you can. Just take risks. Um, just play around with your setup, play around with your camera settings, play around with everything until you catch something that works. It's it's really just trial and error, and that's what's brought me to where my photos are now.
That's incredible. Is there a shot maybe that you haven't done yet that I like to call the grail shot, like a bucket list shot that you have in your mind that you haven't done yet? Is there something that you're working on? What would that be?
Oh man, I have a whole list of shots that I want to do, but if I were to choose one that I'm really trying to get is the perfect action shot with my Boba Fett. When I do finish my Boba Fett custom, I'm gonna try to make it look as realistic as possible, and then get the best action shot that I can with that figure. And I think that's gonna be one of my grails, definitely.
Nice. Have you like printed out or like blown up any of your stuff and put it up on your wall, like any of your photography yet?
Yeah, I actually have. Actually, my mom did as a birthday present. She created I don't even know how big this is. It's like what, like 2 feet by 1.5 foot canvas of of my shot of my custom clone called Commander Bones, or Sergeant Bones actually. But he's a dark green clone, and there's like a bokeh of fire and fireworks around him. Let me send you that so you can check out that post. But she blew that up for me for my birthday, and now it sits on my wall in my room.
That's awesome, dude. That is so cool. I love it when people blow up their stuff and put it up on their walls because I feel like it inspires you. And I've got a lot of stuff on my wall, and I want to definitely like encourage people that like maybe that aren't, they don't like their art. They don't like their toy photography. Just
Mhm.
try it out. Like, go to Walmart, go print out your stuff. There's nothing like having a tangible physical copy of the stuff you've done. And I feel like cuz sometimes we can disassociate so many times like on our iPhones, and we can become hypercritical, but once you get like a tangible actual photo, it's I don't know, there's something about it, man. It just feels so it feels good. Like, you're like, I created this, and like this is something I worked on, something I'm proud of, and display it, man. Put it up on your wall and use it as motivation.
Yeah, totally, man. And just looking back on it, I took this shot like in the beginning of this year, I think. Actually, you know what? I can't remember when I did, but it was it was a couple months back. But now I'm just being my own worst critic, and looking at all the little flaws in it that I can tell, which is because it's at this big scale. I can tell where my custom game was at that point, and I could see where my flaws were. But it's a good reminder of that bookmark in my photography history, which is really good to have
Definitely.
right on my wall.
Do you archive any of your shots, or do you delete any of your shots, or do you keep them all up there?
Um, I for the most part I keep all my shots, but actually I think I've archived one of them. I I archived the shot of, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I archived a shot of, I had the new Predator, the really big one
Yeah.
from NECA, the gray one. I did a shot of him standing up, and I had another figure. It was I think it was Hicks. No, Hudson. It was Hudson from the Aliens movie.
Mhm.
He had NECA gave him this face where he's from that iconic scene where he's like, "Game over, man." And his face is all like scared-ish. So when I was posing them together, just seeing what I could do with it, I had the like 10-inch tall predator standing right next to him, and my dad pointed out, why is that guy like at crotch level to to the predator? And I noticed that, and then I immediately ran out of the house and made the setup, because I had the perfect caption, which was sexual predator.
Oh my
So so I had the figure from a high angle with the predator looking down on Hudson,
Mhm.
and having him like her like eye level to like just not too far away from his crotch. And
Crotch shot.
yeah, I kind of archived that one seemed a little inappropriate, but
Yeah.
I still like that shot. It's just a little inappropriate to keep having on my feed.
Yeah, you're a
You
little
know?
too young for that, sir.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. That is so funny. There's been some shots that I've gone back and realized, like, my posing or, like, just, like, random stuff is like, "Oh, that does not look right," and then it's like now I mentioned it on a previous cast is like I've unarchived everything that I archived, and I am starting to allow myself to really see the stuff that I'm not happy with, like the cringeworthy shots that I felt like I went through a long period of cringeworthy shots. And now that I'm finally starting to really like hone my skills and get better and I'm happier with my shots, even the ones that I'm really happy with, I still see stuff that I want to improve. But, that's cool, man, that you only have one that you archived, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I totally get that because when you have all those shots out, even the ones that you don't really like, that you could see all the flaws in, it's a good reminder of where you were at that time, and then to look back and see how much you've changed and improved. It's a nice memory to have
Oh,
in your like story of a feed on Instagram. You know.
definitely, man, definitely. I'm learning from you, man. I'm the one taking notes, so don't think that I can't learn from you because I definitely know people are learning from you too. So, where can people connect with you on social media? So, I know you have an Instagram. Do you have, like, a Twitter or Facebook too?
I don't have a Twitter, and I actually only have a Facebook to follow some so I can follow these customizers like I don't know if you heard of him. His name's Miko Suabe, but he does some amazing custom work, and he primarily posts on Facebook. So does Old Boy, and a couple other customizers out there. But I usually just have Facebook to follow these customizers that primarily post there. I don't really talk to anyone on there, but if you want to ever reach me, I'm always on Instagram. I'm on there like every day, and just feel free to say hi, ask me a question. I'm a 16-year-old. I'm not anything professional, so don't be scared to say hi, say what's up.
Sweet, sweet, and that's at SCR dot Pics,
That's right.
Pics. Awesome, dude. And you can also find me at Dagobah_days. And you can find the Mezco 112 Collective feature page at 1.12.collective. You can find the Star Wars Toy Pics feature page at Star Wars Toy Pics on Instagram. And you can also find the Toy Photographers podcast at ToyPhotoCast. Remember, everybody, we are storytellers. Get out there, tell your story, just like Mr. Steve here. He's out there killing it. I know he's going to be doing this for a long time. So, also, another thing, if you want to support the podcast and you want to be able to help us get better content, get new equipment, go to tpublic.com and you're going to type in toy photography. And the first thing that's going to pop up is the Toy Photographers Podcast t shirt. Go on there, buy a t shirt, support the podcast, and rep your favorite podcast. Yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Steve, man. I appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait for everybody to hear your journey and your progression, man. Hopefully, soon, maybe one day we get you back on.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really means a lot to be here among all of these amazing creators and inspirations and people that really got me doing what I'm doing today. And it's just been an honor. Thank you, man.
The honor is all mine, sir. I appreciate it, and it's going to be incredible to see the people that you inspire because this podcast is a platform that reaches a lot of people, man. So it's going to be cool to see for sure. All right, man. Signing out. This is Dagobah Days. Peace.